Right. Okay. I think we can just start the session. Hey, everybody. For those who just joined, my name is Mo, and I'm one of the co-founders at Tribe here. I have with me Sohail, who is our Chief Product Officer, and Siavash, our technical co-founder and CEO at the company. You might have seen him a lot in Campfire, replying to a lot of you guys. Um, we are so excited today because we're going to walk you through a lot of exciting stuff that we have worked over the past few weeks. I think the last time we had this session was back in December. And in the past 2 months, our team has worked day and night building some of those amazing features that we heard from you guys on like what you want to see in the product. And we're gonna have this in two different parts today. So the first part is what are you going to be seeing in the product coming out in the next 2 weeks. And we are also offering a beta program for those that are interested to get their hands on these updates and provide us with their feedback before we release them publicly. And they are mainly what you will see in member field, in member profiles, what you will see in Neo. So Siavash will walk us through that in the first part. In the second part, we will see what will be coming up a little bit in short-term update. Perhaps by the end of the first quarter and by the end of March, you're going to see those. And this is more about how we're going to bring the power of customizing the user experience, customizing the member experience. And it's all about like the theme that we are introducing, the templates. And I'm super excited. That part is my favorite part. So we will hear from the team on those updates too. We'll leave the Q&As at the end. You can always feel free to post your questions in the Q&A box, which is at the bottom. And we'll go, Sohail and I will try to get those answered, the easy ones, the one that we believe that requires a little bit of walkthrough or better answer, we'll just leave it at the end. So Siavash, I'm going to pass the torch to you so you can just like tell us about all these exciting stuff that has been happening and things that were being cooked at Tribe team.
Thank you so much for the intro, Mo. So if you can pass me the host so I can share my screen, that would be great. Hi, everyone. Siavash here. Today, I'm super excited to show you some of the things that are going to come in the near future. So I'm going to quickly share my screen. And I actually created a post in a sample community here with all the things that are coming up. So let me zoom in a little bit so you can read all these things like a bit better. So let me give you a quick overview of what you will see in the first part, which are the types of updates that will be coming in the following weeks, very close. And we are initially going to release these as beta to some of our customers. So if you're interested, we are going to send you a type form at the end of this webinar. And if you want to test out some of these things in beta stage, please just fill out those and then we're super excited to show them to you. Okay, so we're going to cover a few items here. The first one is the ability to embed a particular space or post, which will be available to all plans. Second, we're going to cover some of the new SEO or search engine optimization options that you will be able to try. It's on the post level and on the space level and on the whole network level. Again, this will be available to all plans. And then we're going to talk about the all new moderation panel and admin panel. And also one of my favorites, we are going to show you how our new custom profile fields will work, which is again available to all plans, with a few limitations for the lower plans. And last but not least, in the first part, we're going to show you the activity or audit logs at the community, space, member, and post levels. And this one will be mostly available to the premium and enterprise tiers of our plans, basically. Okay, let's really quickly dive in. And on the second part, we're going to also show you like some stuff that are coming in this quarter, hopefully. And those are like space templates and also the page customizer. I'm very excited about these items and sharing these with you as well. So let's actually go through these items one by one. I'm going to show you like how you will be able to easily embed Tribe into other products or your phone app. So in the first version of Tribe, we had this feature, but it required some coding and knowing JavaScript and all those things. So we were thinking how we can make this very popular feature really easy for everyone to use. So let's see how we can do that. As an example, right here, this post, actually, we have like a post and then some people replying to this post. Maybe I want to embed it into my Webflow website. I can simply go down here, click on the share button, and now we have a new option here called embed. And by clicking on embed, as you can see, we have like this code snippet that you can easily just click on it and copy it. And you can also pick if you want the content and replies or only replies or both of them. And in here, you see a preview of how it will look like. So if you want to look at the preview in full screen, you can click here and then see the preview in full screen. Now, in this case, right now, this is read-only, meaning that nobody can do any actions on this particular post when it's embedded. I can easily toggle off the read-only option. And now, as you can see, we have the like, following, share, and also the ability to reply to this very easily. And you can just copy this code and paste it anywhere that supports HTML. Next, I want to show you like how you can do the same actually for spaces. So it seems that I am disconnected. Let me just do a quick switch here. Sorry about this. While we're doing this, because this is on my local machine, it seems that it got like disconnected from my local machine. Any questions that we have so far until I'm bringing this up?
Yeah, feel free to post your questions in the Q&A box. And while Siavash is pulling that up, we will be distributing a URL, a form, on type form that you can sign up to get the beta features released on your community. You can use the live community. If you don't want it to be member facing, you can always send us a test account and set up a separate community for that.
Okay, we're back. Sorry about this. Again, this is my local machine because I wanted to show you all the latest changes. Now, let me actually quickly go to a space right now. So I can go to any spaces and again, click on this 3 dots option and then click on the share button. So when I click on the share button, I will see the same exact like options here. And in here, I have even more options. So let's actually put it in full screen. And in here, I see a preview. Maybe I don't want this like second sidebar here. So let me just disable the about page. And as you can see now, we have a full width and 1 column layout here. If you want, you can just also skip the header and say, I don't want this to be read-only. And you can even filter based on one single tag or multiple tags. So only the content for those tags are shown. And as you can see, we now have a feed of this space and the composer is up there and all those things. Now, this feature can be used with our JWT or JOT SSO option, which will make the user that will see this thing like in any other product, let's say your phone app or your website, already logged in and they can just start interacting with this embedded feed in any product or anywhere else. That's the first item that I wanted to cover. Now, let's move on and see what we have next. So, okay, the next item, one of my favorites again, we have worked a ton on new SEO options. Now, if you look at the code right now, even on the production communities, you will see that there are a bunch of new tags that are there, right there. For instance, the OG tags, OG image tag, we have like even JSON LD. So when you go to a like post page as an example, Google will know that this post is a question or it's just an article and how many answers are added to it and how many people reacted to it. So we actually send those information to other search engines using these protocols. So to be able to handle this on the post level, you can easily click on the edit button and you can see the same thing when you're creating a new post as an admin. and clicking on this new gear icon here. And then you can set up like a custom meta title, custom description, and also a social image. And this image will be the one that when you share this post into social media, like Twitter, like Facebook, even on Slack, you will see like this image with the description that you have picked. Now, if you don't add anything to it, we will actually auto-generate a title and a description based on the title and content of this particular post. So that was next. Now I'm going to cover how you can set this in the community level when we are covering the admin panel, because you can easily actually handle the whole thing in the community level as well. And it will be used as a fallback if we don't see any image. If your post has an image in it, we will actually use that first image inside the post as this OG image tag. But if you want to customize it, again, you can just click on the gear icon and customize it as you want. So the third new item that will be available very soon is the all new moderation panel. One of the things that many of you brought up was that, hey, I don't know like if there are new moderation items pending for me to review. And in many cases, we missed some of those, even on our own campfire community. So what we've done is that in each of these feeds, so in this case, for instance, in the global feed, I see that there are 3 pending posts. Actually, there are items pending for moderation. If I go to any of the spaces as well, we will show the same for that particular space. So the space admin or space moderator can see actually how many pending items are waiting for them to be reviewed. Space admins can also access this using these 3 dots and going to the moderation. And the community admin, the global admins, have access to it from this new tab that initially will be released to all of you if you're interested as beta from this menu under your profile picture. So let's go inside it and see like how it looks like. So as you can see, first of all, the UI is very cleaner. You don't feel that you're leaving the community. You're still in the community with the same layout. And also there are like some new options that we've added that previously in the older version we didn't have. As an example, you can actually now edit these posts right from here before accepting them. In some cases, maybe there is a typo, maybe they are all like capital cased and you want to change them. You can simply change those like using the edit button here. Also, you see why this content was sent for moderation. In this case, it has like a block list word. In this particular like test community, I blocked actually the word test. And also you have these options to accept and reject. And you know like when this was originally posted. Now for replies, you will get some context as well. Like this is a reply to this post. So if you want, like previously we didn't have this, which was very annoying, at least like to us moderating the community. As the community admin, I have access to see all the pending stuff in my community, but as space admins, they will not see like this big one at the top on the community level, but they will have access to the spaces that they are admin of. And in this case, like I can see, okay, there is like a post in this like say hi space. And if there are any pending members, in this case, Elon Jobs is waiting to be approved to join Say Hi. So let's actually approve them. And you can simply approve them right from this panel. Okay, that's it for the all new moderation panel. Okay, next item is the all new admin panel that we are going to release with some new features. We've spent a ton of time thinking about how we can make the admin panel experience easier for all of you and also make it more powerful. In the end, like your community is where your customers or audience are being connected. How can you filter them? How can you just figure out like how many of them have a specific criteria? We wanted to make all those things really easy for you. And for that, let's dive into this new admin panel. So clicking on this new item, and again, when we are releasing the admin panel as beta to you guys, you will still have access to the old admin panel, but you will also, in addition to that, have access to the beta version of the new one. So let's click into it. So as you can see, first of all, we have like this interface where we're trying to use the whole space. And there are some big categories at the left. So we have dashboard, we have people, content, the editor, which will be coming and we're going to cover in the second part, the settings and the app store. So in the first item under people, here we have members, and in here you see like all your members. You can easily search for all of them. You can invite new members right from here, and you can pick like what are the fields that you want to show next to each of these. So if you want the ID, I can show you the ID, and in here I added like I want to see the locale and also the gender of my members. And I can easily also sort these. For instance, in this case, I want to see the ones that are recently logged in to my community. So I can sort them by last seen right from here. Now, there are a ton of options when it comes to filtering, but I'm going to cover these when we actually talk about the profile fields. Okay. We have introduced a new section called administrators. So previously, actually members and administrators were in the same page. And it caused many confusion for our customers. In this case, like because we are also charging for this, we thought like, let's actually show you exactly who are the people that are your staff and you're being charged with. So in here, as you can see, there are like admins and moderators here. Again, you have all the options that were available to you previously, and you have some options on like changing their role and all those stuff. Next, we have the invitations. Now, in this section, we have improved it by adding a few options that were like two of, I think, the most asked questions from our support team when things went wrong with the emails. One of the things is that we are now showing you the status of these emails. Are they delivered? Are they bounced? Have we like got spammed or things of that sort? And you will get an announcement, or is the invitation being queued to be sent? So you will see the exact status of these emails. And if anything is wrong, we will show you also like the extra error message that we received from their servers. Now, we're going to make this more user-friendly. Also, you can see who invited these members. So this was not previously available, and now you can actually do those. And you can always like resend these invitation emails or revoke them if you want them. Awesome. So I see like a few questions jumping here, but we're going to answer all your questions in the end. So let's move on to my favorite piece, which is the profile field. And we have spent so much time making sure that this section is as easy as possible for people to use. And we are giving this to everyone, all the plans. Like you can add as many custom fields as you want in all plans, which I think is very unique. And so in here, as you can see, we have like some custom profile fields. In this case, I have the interests, which is a multi-select. We have the job title. We have like featured, which I want to filter people based on like if I have featured them or not, as an example, pronoun, gender. And then we have like some suggested fields right here. So if to my community, actually their GitHub profile is important, I can easily click on it and then say add field. And these predefined or suggested fields have some validations to them as well, which is amazing. Like you cannot put, for instance, a Twitter link on your GitHub if you want. So if I click on it, it will also tell me that this has like some custom validation. Now, in this case, for Tribe itself, let's say I want to add a new custom member field from scratch, from the beginning. I can easily do that as well by clicking on add field. And in here, you will see the full power. So I can add a text field, a number, a select, a multi-select even, date, toggle, checkbox, email, URL. So technically it's like Notion, your Notion, but these are like people and real people and fields attached to them. So in this case, let's say I want to add a new field called plan because I want to see our campfire communities like which one has like which plan as an example. And I will say this is like prod plan, let's say. And then I can say these are the options that are available to it. So we have like enterprise, we have premium, and we have basic, let's say. And then I have some advanced options. Do I want to show them like a placeholder when nothing is selected? Do I want to show a helper text like this under these text fields, or in this case, select? And these are the options that are only available to the premium plan. So if you want to define who can see these fields, and if you want to actually set who can actually change these fields, you need to actually be on a higher plan. So who can update these fields? So in this case, I want actually only the admins to see this field, and I want only the admins to be able to update these fields. And actually, I want to update these from our single sign-on or from our Salesforce. And all these will be available. So you can actually update the custom member fields through other sources using our JOT SSO or OAuth 2 SSO. So let's actually create this field. I just added a plan. And if I now look at this, look at it here, as you can see, I can check how each of these fields look like. And as you know, like the social fields, they will look very ugly if you have like text fields for all of them. In this case, actually, we have them as the image and people can click on it. And then here's like how the editor looks like. So I have my name. I can change the gender. If I want to be more inclusive, I can actually add more options to it. What's my pronoun? What's the website? What are my interests? Which in this case, let's say like it's not chess and it's like table tennis. And then what's my plan? So let's say it's a premium plan. And I can easily update my own profile, and every single member can update their profile as well if they have access to it. So I can go to members and I can update these options for every single one of my members right from here, or they can enter it. And as I've mentioned, these we can actually filter based on like some of these things. So I can say, I want everyone that their pronoun or their like gender is male in this case, and like only myself like filled in this, and you can filter it based on that. You can say, I want all the ones that are male and they were seen in the past like 3 days or last week, and it will filter it for you. So this is very powerful, and we believe that in the future, when we allow you to segment your customers and save these search fields or filters, like it will be super, super powerful. Yeah, that's it for the custom member fields. Now, we have now a place for all your posts. Now, when we introduce post types, it will be even more interesting. You can see all your spaces. You can just edit them right from here. Again, you can see which ones are private, which ones are invite only or hidden. All of them are available here. You can pick the fields, create new spaces right from here, or edit them right from here, basically. So you click on it, you can change the permissions, notifications, SEO options. So that's another thing. If you want to change the SEO options of a particular space, you can actually change it right from here. We auto-generate something, and there are preview of this in the Google results and also in the Twitter if you share it there. So as an example. Now we will cover the editor later on, and let's jump in and really quickly go through like some of these settings. You're already familiar with all these. We have not changed a lot. We are working on improving the copies on all of these. So you can go to your authentication. Still, you have access to your JOT SSO, single sign-on. You can move your domain. For moderation, you can actually add the block list and all those things. And this was like what I was talking about on like setting a global setting for your SEO. So if we don't find any image for your SEO, this is the image that we pick. And here's like how it will look like when it's shared in social media. You can also set it like for the meta title and meta description, and all those things will be used as a fallback. In here, last but not least, we have the security option. So many of you actually brought up the fact that our passwords are super secured, like 10 characters. It's a lot of characters, and some even password generators do not generate 10-character passwords. So we have given this option to the admins to actually pick from all these options, and even the average one is still secure. So it's one lowercase, one uppercase, and it should be at least one number and at least 8 characters. So even this one is to like certain standards is okay, but we really suggest everyone to use the standard option or stronger. Yeah, I think I kind of covered everything here. Let's go back and let's take a look. Oh, the audit logs. I didn't cover the audit logs. Let's go there. So if I go to the admin panel, for our premium and enterprise customers, we have this new option called audit logs, where it shows you every single movement, everything that happened in your community. In fact, I updated my profile 4 minutes ago during this call, and it's already here. And it is in real time. And I can also actually easily filter these logs. So I want everything that, I don't know, Steve Gates did over the past few days, or I can say everything that Steve Gates did in a particular space, or I can filter on the type. So all the things that are related to posts. So let me see all those, which in this case is nothing, I believe. Now, these options are also available per post. So I can go to this particular post, click on audit logs, and then see everything that happened with the timeline of when it happened right here. In the future, we're going to even show you what is the difference. So if, for instance, somebody updated this, like what was the old update and what was the new version of it. And I can do the same per space. So I can go to a particular space if I want, and then I can click here and go to audit logs. It will do the same for this particular space. And I can do it for a member if I want. So I can go to Siavash and then see what are the latest things that Siavash did over the past few days. Now, this will be available for premium and enterprise, but the retention of the logs would be different. So for premium, it will be the shorter amount of time. And for enterprise, it will be all time, basically. Yeah, I think that's it for all the new changes that we will be introducing in the part 1 of this session.
Perfect. Thank you. We got a lot of love in the chat. Thank you, guys. I hope we heard a lot of your feedbacks and what we are delivering at the product. We have a few questions that I want to make sure, because they're relevant to the first part of the call, so we can catch those before we move to the next part. So one was around embedding, and if how it will work in private communities, as well as how it will be published in other websites if it's from a private community, and how would the sign up and registration would take place. So Siavash, if you can catch that.
Of course. Thanks, Mo, for bringing it, and thank you for bringing up the question, guys. So first of all, for private communities, most likely what you want to do is to use JWT or JOT SSO to make sure your members are already logged in there. So that is the thing that we do recommend. If the community is public and we embed a post and they're not logged in that case, when they click on like button or comment or do any actions that require authentication, we open up the login page in a new window. And they will enter their username and password, and without like leaving that page, they will be logged in, and then they can like it or do any actions that they want. However, for private ones, if you don't authenticate them, you cannot actually embed them into another place, because it's not actually reasonable to embed something when they cannot do anything or see that particular option.
Okay, great. The other question is, like, even without SSO, is it possible to embed the entire community?
Yeah, of course. You can actually embed the entire community right now. You can just copy and paste the link and put it in an iframe. So that is an option. If you want to embed a space or a post, as I've mentioned, you can embed it without single sign-on. When they click on any actions, they will need to log in. And hopefully, like, you can even enable like social login, so they can log in with their Google, and right away they can do any action that they want.
Perfect. And John asked a good question about the custom member fields that we had. And if there is a generic URL that they can always include to send users to their profile, so they can always remind them to complete their profile URL, the profile fields.
That's a very good point. So right now we don't have, actually, we need to think about it. We should maybe like add it, like a permalink basically to update your profile. Right now, since it is in a modal, we don't have that. Now, another thing that you're looking into is to make some of these fields required. Now, what does that mean? When you make a field, Soil, you raised your hand, actually, maybe you can explain this.
Yeah, for sure. So again, like most of these updates that you guys are seeing, like they are mostly prerequisite for so many upcoming exciting features. For example, like we can actually talk about most of them, but for example, one of them is the custom profile feed. And right now, the only thing that we have been showing to you guys is that you would be able to actually create these custom fields. You would be able to actually put a text and choose the type of format that it can accept. But in future, one of the best ways to actually create a community is to make these custom fields required. So when your users are registering, they have to enter their for example, let's say city. And when they put that, you might want to actually put a filter on moderation that those who are from Toronto, let's say, they have to go to moderation. So there are many missing pieces that we had that in order to actually start covering those, we had to first create the custom fields. Now that we have custom fields, now that you would be able to add those custom fields to your user profile, there are going to be so many upcoming features because now we have it. You would be able to actually make it as a required field that you have to sign up. There are going to be a bunch of challenges that we have to solve first. For example, like what if those already registered users, now I'm actually marking something as required. And then we have to connect that to the moderation. And then you have to also connect it to when you are requesting to get joined to a space, like these are the required information that you have to get. Similar to Facebook groups to some extent, that they have done actually an amazing job because Facebook is actually focusing a lot on group communities, but there are actually within their own platform. So one of the things that we are really excited about is that this custom fields is going to be something that is going to be able to make a lot of possibilities achievable. Like a lot of I have my own local, and I have done a lot of amazing stuff with Zapier only, or with APIs that you would be able to actually send. Like I had a friend of mine who was like with Zapier, when someone was like making a post, it was adding to a custom field. So for example, like he was like updating something, he was writing something on their post, they click post, and it was updating the custom fields. So the amount of stuff that you would be able to achieve is endless, but we have to first make sure that those challenges that I mentioned, for example, like if someone is already registered and then you make some custom fields required, what's going to happen? But for now, this is the first version. This is going to be completely connected to moderation and also sign up page as well.
Amazing. Thank you, Soil. So again, we will be able to create a registration page and ask like some of these custom field questions by making them required. And second, we will be able to create member groups, which is just insane. Like we can do a lot of things. So for instance, in this case, all the people who answered Toronto to their location should be added to this member field, and they should be added to a particular space right from there. Like this will solve a ton of our customers' problems. And then we can also introduce analytics based on these things, right? So maybe you want to actually see how many posts were posted based on the different cities in your community. Like all those things will be unlocked using these custom member fields.
Superb. I want to be mindful of time. We have over 20 minutes to go. So thank you guys for the intro of what is expected to be out in the next 2 weeks. I'm already posting in the chat the link to Typeform. If you want to get access to the beta feature, it's just like fill it out. It's a very short form, and we'll get in touch to enable those features so you can get your hands on it and provide the feedback. So let's shift the gear and go to the second part of the session today, where we're going to see what is coming down a little bit later in the pipeline to the end of this quarter, at the end of March. And Siavash, Sohail, tell us about what those exciting features around customizability and how I can, uniquely customize the experience for my members inside my community.
Amazing. So Sohail, do you want to give a note, or I can start?
Sure. So I think this is where we are falling apart from everyone else who are also doing a community platform. And I think this is something that we wanted to actually do for quite some time. Like, I think everyone here, in one way or another, everyone has that entrepreneurship in themselves, and you wanted to be able to build what you want and what you think that it should be like, and every single community is going to be different. And from day one that we started Tribe, the whole idea was that we wanted to actually create this very modular platform that you would be able to customize it to your need, and you wanted to play around with it, you wanted to add blocks to it, you wanted to be able to actually cater to the need of your users. And but there is this challenge of, if we are giving you this amount of option to customize, you are eventually going to see this very complex tool that then you are not going to have an idea what to do and what to do next and what to put there. So there are two things that I think Siavash is going to cover right now. One is the idea of customization and blocks, that how powerful the system is, that you have almost no limitation. We are putting guardrails, so people are not going out of their way to create some random stuff, but we are showing you first under the hood what technology and how we are using that technology to create all of these customization, and then what we are going with that customization. I think someone mentioned on the chat that it's going to be templates. It is templates, but in order to achieve building those templates, what we have done first.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sohail, for giving the context. Now, I'm extremely excited to share this with you. We have still a long way. This is still in process of being developed, and believe me, like, a ton of thinking went through this to make this as simple as you see it here. Hopefully it is simple. So let me share my screen and show you how this will look like. Now, I'm going to start with the fact that you will be able to create new spaces and new pages in Tribe. But when you want to create a new page, as Sohail mentioned, like, it's very hard to start things from scratch. So instead of doing that, as one of you mentioned in the chat, we're going to actually give you the ability to start from templates. So in this case, like, this is the editor. This is the only piece that I did not cover in the admin panel. If I click on this plus icon here to create a new space, I will actually get to this screen where we actually thought for you what are the types of spaces or pages that you may need. Now, this list is based on the 3 years of experience. So basically, we grouped by all the spaces that you guys have created, and these are the most common names. And based on those, we thought, like, what's the best look and feel and best experience for each of these items. So in this case, like, we have categorized them actually in 3 different categories here, and a lot more will be coming. Imagine, like, actually we will let our customers to build these templates. Now, when you want to use a template, as you can see, some of these are like, some examples of these templates are like announcement, introduction, getting started, discussion, and all these things, to the ones that are actually static, for instance, terms of service or privacy policy. What's the best terms of service for a community? What's the best privacy policy as a template for communities? And some of these have content, some of these have posts, some of these have just the layout of this thing. Now, I can easily click on use this template, and we will also fill some of the information and permissioning for creating this space. In this case, announcements should be only available for admins to post in, and everyone else should read. And all those things are pre-selected for you. And you can click on create, and there you have it. You have your space right from here. Now, let me show you some other examples of the templates that you saw in that list. We will have a knowledge base templates for you folks if you want to actually put up some knowledge base. Look at like how we changed stuff here. This one does not have a join button, and the main action is new article. And then we have categories here, and then a new block here, which has, like, we call it like a call to action block that have been added. And you can feature one of the articles if you want. Next one is events. Now, in events, most likely we need like 2 tabs, and then we have upcoming events and past events. And as you can see, the look and feel of these posts are different. So if I compare this one does not have a like button or any of those things, but this one has an attending button as an example. It's because these are two different post types. And we're going to introduce post types with like the new space template feature. Now imagine what you saw in the custom member fields, being able to add like fields to posts. So if you want to assign like an event to someone, you add a field and say like it's a person picker or member picker. Next, we have like a support template as an example. So in here, we have some blocks here, but in this case, like it's important for you to understand if something is resolved or not. So a resolved like Boolean will be there, or like true, false, where people can actually mark things as resolved. And in this case, by default, it's ordered by recency, but you can easily change it to order based on, I don't know, number of comments, or you can filter based on all the ones that are not resolved yet. We will have one for files where it just gets title and a media attached to it. One for feature requests, where the most important things are like how many upvotes these features have, and also what's the status of these things as like a select custom field as an example for these posts. And I cannot actually wait for ourselves to use this feature so we can collect and make sure all the best feature requests are actually getting like more attention. And then this is an example for a terms of service, which is simply a block of HTML where we actually provided some information on like, if legally you want something that may work, you need to still change it. Here's like an example of it. So that's it about how space templates work, but we haven't just stopped here. We thought like maybe you want to add this particular, start from this particular space template, but maybe you want to add a block here, or maybe you want to add a featured post at the top. How would you do that? So the way we thought is that how can we just make things like really, really customizable? And in the editor, in the admin panel, first of all, like you still have the ability to customize. So we will actually deprecate our customizer. So you can simply like change all these things and pick your themes and all those things from right here in one place. But the most important part is that you can actually go to pages, see all the pages and spaces that you have, click on one of them if you want, and then say, you can change the settings, of course, icon, name, and all those things, or the SEO options as I showed you, but you can actually change the appearance. So in the appearance, for each of the things that I showed you, we will provide even like different layouts or different appearances. And you can actually easily switch between those. In this example, like one appearance does not have the sidebar, another one does not have like a big header. So you can actually easily pick between these as like this particular space template and the other appearances that we allow. But you can actually customize it further. So I can easily click on this customize button. And in here, I see every single block that created or generated this particular space. And if I hover over like space header as an example, you see that it will be actually highlighted. And in here, as an example, maybe I want to change members here to be called crews. So I see both of my tabs here. I can click on this 3 dot, click here, and change it to crews and update even the URL for that tab and click on update. Boom. Now we have crew here as an example. Now I can go back to our feed as an example here, where I switch the tab. So you can actually switch between these tabs really easily. And maybe go to tips for members and say, I want to change the HTML or the description here. So simply you can change it here and you will have it right there. Now, maybe I want to add a new block at the top for featured posts. To do that, I will just pick, in this case, I want to add it to the feed. So I'm going to the feed, click on add block, and then I see like all these blocks that are here, and I will hit the featured posts block, and it will be added right here to my space. So this is how we see, and I hope like 99% of you guys won't even need to come to this page because everything is already well thought, and we actually tried our best to create lots of templates, and maybe we'll have like a template marketplace in the future where other people actually provided some of these templates. So you can just pick from the list. But this is like how we envision editing these, or maybe saving these and submitting these as new templates.
Perfect. I see a lot of love and excitement in the chat. That's really what is the fuel for us to work day and night to get this rollout and introduce in the product. We had a lot of questions on like when this will be available. Like this is literally what the team is just like working on. The product design team and the engineering team are working day and night together to get this rolled out. And we expect to, and Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong, but like we expect the release date to be around end of March. That's almost like the estimated release date for many of these features. We are going to roll these out on a gradual basis, so you won't see everything right away in the product, but that's the direction. I want to show you the direction, want to gather your feedback and see if we are on the right track. Like that's what we've done so far, and we've got a lot of amazing feedback from you guys. So I'm just going to dive into the questions. We have almost over 10 minutes. There was a question around the member fields that maybe we didn't cover, and it was, maybe you can just go back to it. If this is possible to filter the members based on those particular fields. So I think you can actually show that, Siavash.
Yeah, actually, I briefly covered it, but let me actually share my screen maybe and show it again. So in here, if I go to the admin panel, we just created actually a plan field. So I can easily click on here. I think this one for now needs actually a refresh. So let me actually refresh it. So we just created a plan field. I can click here. I will see hopefully like it's here, the plan. And I can say, show me all the ones that their plan is premium. And it will show me all the ones that their plan is premium. I can even add like that plan field and all the other custom member fields to this table. And again, hopefully in the future, you will be able to save these as segments or as a saved filter or view.
Great, thank you.
One thing that I would like to also add here is that most of the stuff that everyone saw is the sort of events that we're collecting within our own platform. And Siavash also showcased the block editor. One thing that I also wanted to mention that I think is going to be really exciting for those who are running a company and an organization. So for example, imagine you have a HubSpot, or imagine you are using an intercom, or imagine you are using a Typeform. Basically, you would be able to actually fetch those information, adding it to that table, so you can actually see some of the information from on that table of your members about what plan on HubSpot they are, at what pipeline they are on your pipe drive. And also you would be able to add it as a block. So imagine that HubSpot has a block. So while you are chatting with someone or while you're answering someone, then you actually have that block that showcases all of the information. So you are not going to be able to keep clicking and going to another platform, searching their names. Those informations are going to be connected to that member. So your committee is going to play as a hub. So all of the information are going to be there. These are the two most important things that we are also initially really excited about, that you can actually use your custom field to either show all of those information within the table and it's going to be automatically synced, or you would be able to add it as a block next to your members or space.
Perfect, thank you. Jacob is asking if in the administration panel where you showed that we can see the status of the invites that we have sent, would it be possible to revoke or remove invitation after it was sent? And his use case is just to declutter that list. I know that we are also introducing a lot of filters for that.
Yeah, you will be able to actually revoke, resend, and also filter based on those statuses. Now, some of these, like we are working, like this, the feature you mentioned right now, we actually started working on it today, like this morning. Okay.
No, I'm glad to hear it. There is a question from John. It's about considering the tag library and when there will be a view of directory of all tags that are used in a community.
Amazing question. So that's another thing that it's a little bit of a bigger task because we need to first migrate like tags from space level to network level. So that's the first step that we're doing. And after we are completed with that, like we will introduce like a tags tab in the same place where there are content. And you will also have some options to restrict tags. So it's a one task, and it's like restricting who can create new tags. Maybe you want just predefined tags and everyone tagging those. And also some tags that are locked, meaning that only admins can create product update tag or can tag posts with product update. So both of those are pretty popular, and we're going to tackle them as part of one epic.
Perfect. And good question from Joe. He's asking where you showed the template of a knowledge base, where there wasn't any way for a user to join that space or subscribe to it. How would this impact the feed of the user? And following up to that question, if I have a space where it only shows the post title, how would it be displayed in a user feed?
Yep. Great question. So spaces that are not joinable will not show in the feed. But the cool thing is that you will be able to actually add a block, add a post list block as an example. And they say, I want in this post list block to show all the posts from like these two spaces where the item is tagged with like something else. So you will be able to customize all those things. Basically, actually, when Sohail and I talk, like in many times we say like having a feed as a homepage is the worst homepage for a community. Most likely for especially logged out users, you want to create a different landing page with some highlighted posts, for instance, some getting started from knowledge base and something from another place. And then you will be able to create like block with different things, maybe highlighted members, highlighted posts, or like some knowledge base, latest feedback, and all those things.
That's great. So basically a custom feed that you can really build it the way you want it based on different spaces or certain tags is what we're moving toward. Hicham was asking like when you guys can see some of these changes. If you're talking about like the member fields, the moderation panel and things of that sort, we actually shared the type form. If you just fill it up, we'll provide your URL that you want the beta features to be enabled. We'll enable it later this week. Tomorrow is Friday, so that's when we're aiming to do that. I'll post the link again in the chat. Another question from Joe is like, in the new admin panel, does it allow for customizing the PWA configs, like custom icon, theme colors, etc.?
We don't yet have this, but this is like something that I will most likely tackle as a like weekend project maybe someday, because I really want that as well, especially the splash screen. Now that I have it added to my home screen, every time I click, it's just white screen until it's loaded. So hopefully like we will have it. It's not a big epic, so it's not in our roadmap, but it's a side project that somebody in our we do have internal hackathons. I hope like somebody in our hackathons or myself like will pick it and then deliver it sometime.
All right, perfect. We're almost at time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sohail. Thank you, Siavash, for walking us through it. And thanks everyone else. Like, it's so exciting to see that every time that we do this, the number of attendees increases. We get a lot of love, and that's really the fuel for us and keep working on these features. Please keep the feedback coming. Again, join the campfire if you haven't yet. And I just pasted the link to the type form. We will also distribute it after the call through the email that we'll send you. And we look forward to seeing you guys in the next session. Thank you again.